to Candid Conversations with Carolyn Vaughn. Remember to like and share. My guest today is Sunnie Carney, who at the age of 16 lost her dad, her hero, to homicide. Sunnie found a way to cope with the pain and turned her pain into passion. She founded the nonprofit organization Children of Homicide Victims. Welcome, Sunnie. So glad to have you.
Me. I'm glad to be here.
We're so glad that you would come and share the intimate parts of your story.
Definitely.
So first, would you go back to age 16? At age 16, losing your dad that way.
Absolutely. So at the age of 16, it literally was 2 days before my birthday.
Oh, wow.
He was murdered in his car at 2:30 a.m. Just 4 days after his birthday, 2 days before my birthday.
So you all shared that little celebration.
So we literally had the little celebration of his birthday, boom, then after that I was born. So it was just kind of a thing that we did every year. But at the age of 16, he was murdered in his car on Truce. He was Kansas City's 12th or 9th homicide of 2012. And at that time, I'm a little girl. My father, I'm a daddy's girl. My father is my superhero, my protector, my guide, everything. And so losing that at that age, my world just collided. I didn't feel like I had that protection anymore. Of course, a mother's love is unbeatable, but having that father there really tore down my walls of feeling like I was safe, I was protected. I had that different kind of love. So at that age,
at age 16, when you're coming into your own
in my womanhood, in my womanhood. So things in regards to just men and accepting certain things from men, or just attention from outside those walls, were just completely different for me. I didn't know. I won't even say I lost. I didn't know a lot of those things. I didn't know what to look for in a man, what to not look for.
Because you hadn't got to that point yet.
I hadn't got to that point yet. I was still in school, and in fact, me even being in school and that happening in the gist of that, school was hard for me. I literally almost dropped out of school just because of the tragedy that I was facing at that time. So it hit me with a lot of turmoil, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of things that I didn't even understand for myself. So at that age, I think it was a very, very confusing state for me.
I can imagine, because at 16, like we said, you're coming into your own, and you're kind of discovering yourself, so to speak, and your community is, you're more aware somewhat of your community and it's your friends, and you've got things going on at school, and then bam.
Yeah.
So what was that process? I mean, how long did you stay in a particular emotional state?
Wow. So, Pastor Carolyn, I would say I was 16 at that time. Once I actually fully started to walk out of the grieving process, the finding myself, the reevaluating situations, circumstances, people, surroundings, all those different type of things, I would say that I literally was probably 21. So years and years of being wounded, years and years of being in pain, years and years of doing things that I didn't realize why I was doing it, but I just was trying to fill a void. Years and years of that. It took that long for me to realize, okay, this is not it. This is not what I'm supposed to be doing. This is not how I'm supposed to be feeling. This is not how I get to the healing part of that. So years. It took me years.
What was the turning point for you that kind of opened your eyes and said, this is not working for me?
Honestly, I went through depression. Depression led to suicidal thoughts. Suicidal thoughts left to me feeling alone. I didn't want to be here. But the turning point literally for me is my friend, I think my 21st birthday, I had went to the club and got super drunk, and I literally blacked out, didn't remember anything. And so it was such a fear for my mom, like seeing me come home like that. It was such a fear for my friends, like, okay, this is not, like, we have fun with you, but this is not the type of fun that we want to be around. And so it took that point, and one of my friends just said, okay, like, can you come to church with me? Like, just come to church with me. And it was the invitation to church. that literally took the turn on my life.
So it was going there and you found a new community of faith that helped you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so in that process, I won't say that I was just super, super in church majority of my life, but I have family that has a background of, being in church. I got baptized at a young age, but finding faith for myself.
As they say, for real.
For real. That was so different for me from, coming to a place where nobody knows me and somebody can just see right through me, speak to me, and tell me everything about my life without knowing anything. And at that point, I was like, okay, God is speaking to me for real. Like, this is for real.
So, so you are just affirming that especially when you're going through things like this, your faith community serves or can serve a great role,
a huge role
of healing, of getting back on track.
Absolutely.
A community of not only just adults, but even people your own age that can kind of wrap their arms around you and support you.
Absolutely.
So is that what you found?
That is absolutely what I found. And that is what introduced me to knowing how to get towards healing the right way, the Jesus way.
Yeah.
And that's what helped me.
Great.
So, yeah.
So here you are today. Now, how old are you?
I am 26. I just celebrated my 26th birthday. Yes, February 6th. I just turned 26.
And you're still holding on to that you received, and
still holding on, and I'm driving it out faithfully. I'm committed. I'm here. I'm dedicated. I would not go back. Not go back.
That is amazing.
I would not go back. I love it. Absolutely.
Now you found it, as I said in my intro, you turned your pain into passion, and tell us about the organization that you founded.
Yeah. So Children of Homicide Victims is a nonprofit organization for children who lost their parents to homicide. So we serve the Kansas City metro area community. And in this, our whole motto is to restore love, faith, and hope back to those parentless children and just provide them with resources and activities for them to be able to tackle those adversities and then start their healing journey.
Are there any other, because I know there are organizations like Mothers in Charge and Mamas on a Mission and that type of thing, but I really hadn't realized the importance of just focusing on the children.
So, Pastor Vaughn, there is not another organization that just caters directly to the children, and that is why I decided to go ahead and take the leap of faith and step out and create my organization, because like you're right, you have the mothers, which the mothers are, they're important, they are needed. You have other co-victims, family members, everybody's important, but I think we miss the mark by not paying attention to the children.
Absolutely.
Because in that's where we start to see the repeated cycles, the retaliation, the anger turning into gun violence, turned into youth being in the criminal justice system, turned into everything just repeating itself all over again.
So what does your organization do for children? If say there's a parent that's listening and they have children and their mother or their father is a victim of homicide, what would you tell them? Why would they come to this organization or get their children involved? So
I think what sets us apart from any other organization is that everyone on our board, literally, we are children of homicide victims. So we not only can relate, but we can kind of guide you through that process of how we experienced it, what we got from it, and then kind of just connect on that feeling of feeling alone, feeling this way, feeling that way. But then also we provide outside resources where if talking to us isn't really being beneficial, then we do have access to private counselors. We do have access to different resources. Even in the case of, we know things get hard when you lose a parent, when it's no longer a two-parent income household. We do provide financial assistance and those such things. But I think the biggest thing that I would want a parent to realize is that it's the community, it's the group healing part that really gets the kids together. Like, okay, I don't feel alone anymore. I know I can relate to this person. I know that I can confide in this person because they went through what I went through. And although my parent don't understand, because there's a lot of times when I was going through that at 16, I didn't feel like my mother understood where I was coming from. And so even in the gist of that can provide anger, that can provide just a rebellion spirit in me towards my mom, because you're not understanding me. I can't talk to you. I don't feel like I'm connecting. I don't feel like you're understanding. And so in that aspect, just knowing that we are literally alike, like we're literally our own community.
And that is, I think that is so important, and it is because you've been there, and then everybody on the board has been there. That means you can speak on a level that a person who has not cannot.
Absolutely.
Because you're speaking from experience. You're speaking from the hurt. You're speaking from the pain.
Absolutely.
And a person can connect better when they know, because I believe that your voice and your words weigh heavier when you've been through it yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I definitely agree. Because like I said before, when I was at that age, and then just coming up into, being 17, 18, 19, and realizing like nobody's helping me. Like I don't have help. Like I do commend and support the organizations that did reach out, like ad hoc and things like that. But it's like, okay, none of you guys are connecting with me. Like, yeah, you're telling me like I know this, okay, but who can I see myself in? Like who, when I put a mirror out there, like who can reflect my pain? Who can reflect my journey, my healing? Like who can look like me? Who looks like me? It's just like a little black girl wanting to grow up and be successful. She wants to see another black girl older. Absolutely. She wants to look at her and say, okay, I am her. There is my survival story. There's my success story. I can be that.
So what I hear you saying is, when you were 16, the different things that you went through up till 21, you want to make sure that other children have a resource.
Absolutely.
Have a place, have a community of people who know exactly what you're going through. Because at that time, you're saying that nobody really connected or could feel what you felt. And children know when you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's exactly what I mean. Like just having that person, it's different. It's just a different kind of feel. It's a different kind of community.
So tell me some of the activities that you all do.
So we have,
for these wonderful children.
We host annual events. Outside of that, like I said, the group healing, we actually have something coming up in March where it'll be virtual because of COVID. But outside of the group healing are our sessions that we do monthly with the children to kind of just bring the community together, get them to know each other, and then start the grieving process. So acceptance, not being in denial, how to control anger, behavior problems, those such things. But annually for the children, the community also can be a part. We have our Gifts to Heal Christmas sponsorship, so the community can sponsor these children for Christmas, like Adopt a Cove Kid. And so every year we host a party for them, and they can come together as a community again and just celebrate opening gifts and not really having that sorrow, like, oh, it's going to be a sad Christmas this year because I don't have my dad or I don't have my mom. What else do
So those are moments of joy.
Yeah, those are moments of joy.
Where they can get away.
Yes, and they really, really enjoy. We have Santa Claus, and this year the Grinch came, but last year we had
Was
Santa
he green?
Claus. He was green. He was green, yes. So they really just take joy in those moments, and it provides them just such a happy spirit and not have to think about, the death or the loss or what they lack this year.
So you give them a break.
Yeah.
From the regular things that are going on in their heart and in their head, and pull them away from that and show them love.
And hope and faith, which are our, our values. But outside of that, we do have like a violence prevention event that we have every year. We have, what else do we do? God, we do so many things. We usually have our fundraiser, which is kind of like our anniversary, but it's also a fundraiser for a scholarship. So we are, giving back to the community and teens. Like I said, I was going to drop out. And I was at Pastor Carolyn Vaughn. I was literally at the verge of, I was not only about to drop out, but I was in a national student-led organization. I was being elected as the state vice president on the board of membership. And I almost gave that up because I was going through what I was going through.
You know what? It's good to hear from a child's perspective. I mean, then we were a child. But I'm just wondering, what kind of things was your mother, the other parent that's left, to deal with being parenting alone and then a teenager, and a female at that.
I am not going to lie, and I literally still apologize to her till this day, because I'm like, Mom, I know now what I didn't know then, but forgive me. Because I took a lot out on her, not realizing that, not appreciating her for still being here, not appreciating the fact that I still had someone.
Right.
So,
but you were young. You didn't know.
I was young, yeah. And so she understands, but I'm like, wow, like, I did all that? Like, I didn't appreciate that? I didn't da-da-da. So now I kind of sit back and reflect on things, but she took a lot, and I commend her for taking a lot, because I know it was hard for me, but I know it was even hard for her to losing a significant other, someone that you loved, however you want to express it. I don't know, more deeply than, you know, you probably thought or whatever, but I did. I rebelled. I was wild towards her. A part of me then was like hating her for things that I didn't really even understand why I was hating her for. And so just taking that, you have to take the me talking back, you have to take in me getting angry and me yelling, you have to take it back, me not knowing how to really express my anger, and then me isolating myself from you. I grew distant from my mom because I was a dad's girl. So why? I can't really tell you why. I honestly don't know why, losing my dad made me more distant from my mom, but it happened, and I didn't know why it happened, but it happened, and I apologize to my mom every day. I'm like, oh goodness, like I know, just imagining like how she could have felt, like feeling like, okay, I'm not doing enough, I don't know what I'm doing, like my daughter hates me, or I don't know how to get through this, I don't know what to say to her, things like that. I know that can be so confusing and so hurtful.
So you would say to parents, hang in there.
Hang in there. Hang
Things
in there.
Things do turn.
They do.
They do. They turn around.
They definitely turn. And I can honestly say that now, me and my mother's relationship is better from even before my father died.
Okay.
So that reconciliation and restoration is definitely there once the child heals. Just hang in there. Just hang in there.
Don't give up.
Hang in there. Don't give up. No, absolutely not. And that's one thing that I do commend my mother on. She never gave up, which, of course, but she never, although it was hard, she never gave up on me. She still tried to encourage me. She still tried to put those, supportive things in my life. Even in times where, I isolated myself, I didn't want to be around friends, I didn't want to be around family. She didn't force me, but she still kind of like, okay, I know you're in this place, but let's try to, let's try to be a part of a community. Let's try to communicate. Let's try to talk. Let's try to eat, different things like that. So I definitely commend my mom. And it is going to be hard. It's going to be super hard because, like I said, you don't know. Unless you've been there, you don't really know. But hang in there. Keep encouraging. Don't give up. Keep giving those words. Just keep being support. Keep being a mom, a dad. Just keep being a parent.
So, you mentioned something that you have coming up in March.
Yes.
How do we as community, because I'm part of the community, how do we connect and support? How do we find out the things that you're doing and you're asking for community support, like the Christmas event or whatever else that you do? How do we as a community support this? I believe this is such an amazing organization, and I do believe it is so needed because we don't want to forget the children.
Definitely not.
Don't want to.
Definitely not. I think that's the key that is one of the keys, shall I say, to our problems with gun violence and crime and homicide in Kansas City today is that we failed to really take the key and unlock the treasure with the children. And but however, you can go to www.COHV-Children and that is literally where you can find everything that we're doing. That is our own website. You can follow us on social media. We have a Facebook and an Instagram. Our Instagram handle is COHV-KC, COHV-KC, and then Children of Homicide Victims on Facebook. And you literally can find everything there, even pictures of the Christmas event.
Oh, that is so great. And thank you again for being so open enough to share your story and the good and all of that and the things that are not so good, and how that you turned your pain into your passion
I always
and
say,
giving back to the
I
community.
literally always say that when God gives you your own testimony, He will literally allow you to profit off your pain. And profit doesn't necessarily mean that you're gaining anything monetarily, but you are profiting something. And my profit, what I'm so thankful for, is that God led me on this journey so that my profit could be helping other youth. And that is literally what I love.
And I think that's a great, awesome way to give back to the community.
Thank you, Pastor.
So thank you again. Appreciate you. God bless you.
No, thank you. Thank you guys for having me.